When it comes to spices, I thought I had seen and tasted them all, but wow, was I wrong, especially when it comes to this guy, curry powder. Our guest on today's episode is going to open my eyes, mind, and most importantly, taste buds to a world I never really knew. A world that is going to teach me all about this spice blend. That's right, spice blend. Did you know curry powder is a blend of robust spices all mixed together to make what most people think is curry powder? I am so excited because we are going to prepare a dish of shrimp, coconut milk, and our homemade curry powder together to make shrimp curry, a dish that is sure to make your taste buds dance. So stay tuned as you enjoy this episode of the Red Clay Cook-Off Family Style. So excited to welcome our guest today, Shomudro G, who is a senior student at Conrad Schools of Science. And let me just say, a scientist he is when it comes to his culinary skills in the kitchen. I cannot wait for all he is about to teach me as he introduces me to ingredients I have never used before and flavor combinations that are going to send my taste buds on an amazing journey to experience authentic Indian cuisine. Let's get this culinary journey started. Shomudro, come on out. Hi.
Hi, how's everything going for you?
Not bad. So happy to have you here today.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So I recently reached out to you about coming on the show with me, and right away he jumped in, ready to do this.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Because you've been in the cooking world, in the kitchen, and really enjoying your culinary expertise since how old were you?
I'd say around like 4 or 5 actually.
4 or 5. That's pretty young. Mm-hmm. Did you use a knife that early? Got all your fingers?
No, I didn't. Well, I'm physical proof of that. Okay, but in all seriousness, I wasn't really trusted with a knife that much, or just ingredients in general, because of my very young age.
Yes.
But I've been very interested in cooking for a long time, and around 2016 or so, when my grandparents most recently came to the States, we actually bonded over cooking in general, specifically me and my grandma, because in India she actually works as an OBGYN. When she comes to the States, she has nothing to do, so might as well cook up a storm.
Yeah, right. That's what this whole show was about. Really, is the bond that getting in the kitchen with family, how strong that is and how important that is. And I think that's so lost in many ways.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
Today, and to be able to bring it back, and the fact that that's really where your roots come from, your kitchen roots come from, is amazing. So, your whole family, I take it, really enjoys cooking and eating.
We all enjoy eating at one point or another. In terms of cooking and all that, it typically varies depending on how much of a workload we have. Like my mom's extremely passionate about cooking.
Yeah.
My dad he cooks from time to time, but typically he's always burnt out from work and all that. And my sister, let's just say she doesn't.
She doesn't. Well, she doesn't, but you do, which is why you're here. So walk us through what we're doing first, the first recipe on the segment, and then we'll talk about the second one. What are we doing here first? Because it's pretty awesome.
So what we're doing is shrimp malai curry. Malai actually, you often see this item in a lot of Indian restaurants and all that. The term Malay actually means derived from Malay cooking, so hence the coconut, hence the ginger and all these other spices.
We're taking it back to like the bare bones, like nuts and bolts of what curry is about, because when many people think curry, they think of powder you buy in an already pre-made form, but it's actually a blend of so many wonderful spices that really bring that experience to life.
And the thing about these blends of spices, India is often considered to be a subcontinent, right? So there are a lot of different regions, there are a lot of different countries and all that, so naturally there would be a lot of different variations to so-called curry. But the general umbrella that it falls under is called garam masala, or garam masala as we call it in Bangla. Garam literally meaning hot, and mosla meaning spices.
Okay. And the spices, we have an assortment. I'm going to quickly go over the spices. We have allspice, we've got bay leaves, we've got cardamom, These are all new to me. So I went to the Newark Farmers Market,
right.
local from here, and I just had a blast. Just really looking at the list that you sent and learning all about it. Garlic ginger paste, which, I mean, those two combined are amazing.
Oh yeah.
Chili paste, a little bit of sugar. We've got some coconut flakes, cinnamon sticks, chilies, red chilies that we may use. And then I think we also have the turmeric and ghee. And coconut milk, and then we have shrimp. So how about we get started? I'm going to have you start slicing the onions. Whatever. Yeah. And I'm going to go in and get the ghee, which, if you're like me and wondering what is ghee, I never cooked with ghee before, and I bought it for the first time the other day. It is a form of butter, essentially, that has had all the liquid removed, and it has a much nuttier taste than butter would. It almost, if you smell it, it almost smells like a really sharp, like cheese, like an aged cheese, I thought. So it kind of imparts that nutty flavor. Is that why it's commonly used instead of butter?
Yeah, and also because given India's hot climate and all that, it effectively prevents the butter from spoiling, at least for a significant amount of time.
And it has a higher smoke point than regular butter.
Oh yeah,
so it
definitely.
doesn't burn as easily, which is nice. How much do you think you want me to go in with on?
Yeah, that last spoon is good.
Okay.
Or just putting in that last spoon, actually.
Oh, putting in the last spoon. Got it.
How?
So he is my teacher today.
Yeah, onions are actually very versatile when it comes to cooking in general.
Absolutely.
There's in fact, people even make soups out of just onions.
Yes, French onion soup is one. Is there a recipe that you follow where it's a strong onion base?
The term curry, it can also be referred to like people usually think of like meat in a gravy or vegetables in a gravy.
Yeah.
When we refer to curry, we just refer to like it's basically our equivalent of a casserole. You can consider what we make is kind of like an onion casserole.
And just add that as your flavor component that really brings that dish to
Yeah.
life. So how do you have a preference on how you slice your onions as far as shape and texture with the dish?
Just like half moons, really.
Okay.
They effectively disintegrate in the pan.
Pop it on in. Am I going in here the pan for you?
Shoot, thanks.
Absolutely, I'm dropping these guys. And red onions people don't think of onions really so much as a vegetable, because they always think of them more as like a flavor component commonly. But they really are so nutritious. They pack a lot of phytochemicals, so much nutritional benefit that are in onions that we overlook as being a center of the plate really component. And I'm going to turn this bad boy up. While these saute, Shomudro is actually going to show us how to make garam masala from scratch.
All right.
So that'll be the next step we're going to do. Do you want me to come in with those other onions to the pan?
Yeah, sure.
Add them later. Got it. I do have some paper towels for us too. Whoops, sorry.
Maybe a little bit of little bit more oil as well might help.
Okay.
Or,
Oil or ghee? The ghee?
I think this time just oil,
Okay.
because the ghee also works as a part of a flavor component.
Okay.
As I was saying, there are three main components. You got the cinnamon right here, you got the cardamom pods right here, and you've got these guys, the cloves right here. Cloves are actually really good for if you have a cold, and the oil actually really helps with your throat. So the thing about the combination of these three spices, it's a 2 to 2 to 2 ratio. So is that the coffee grinder right there?
Absolutely.
Sweet. You always want to make sure that you break the cinnamon into an inch of a piece. So let's put these guys in here.
I've never done this before. This is exciting. I've only ever used this to grind coffee.
Yeah, that works.
Strong. All right, let's. Okay, now we What works is magic. And so in India, a lot of spices are actually used not only just to enhance flavor, but also for medicinal purposes.
Oh yeah, of course. As I mentioned earlier with the cloves and all that, what I typically do, or what my dad typically does whenever he has a cold, the rare instances he has a cold, he actually works out from time. He actually works out 7 days a week. He usually has like hot tea with cloves in it. Cloves in it, a little bit of ginger.
That way.
Oh yeah, no, that makes sense.
There we go.
Sweet.
Ta-da!
So yeah, this will go in a little layer.
Oh my, that smells good. That really smells amazing.
Doesn't it?
Yes. And it's so neat to think how this is multi-purpose. It's not just about the flavor, it's about the really the health benefits that the spices bring. Because I've said it before in other shows, so many people don't think about spices.
Should I just put it back in?
You can put it back in. Yeah. Do we need this onion's good as far as quantity? Because I know we didn't slice the second one yet.
How much shrimp do we have? Just
shrimp? Let me grab the shrimp down here. So did you say, you mentioned something about you do a little something with the shrimp to get it ready.
Yeah, we actually marinated in a little bit of ginger and garlic.
Okay, and here's a little spoon you can use.
Thank you.
So what he's doing right now is a ginger garlic paste. It's already pre-made. Go right behind you, sorry. So you mentioned that you buy like a cube that's already frozen. I found this, but you said you
yeah, this works like this works like a charm, definitely.
And you could always freeze this too, which if you buy this and you're not going to use this much ginger garlic paste, which I don't know why you wouldn't because it's awesome.
Do you mind if I see some of these things?
Go ahead.
All right, so just put in a little bit of turmeric right here. What else? A little bit of mustard oil right here.
And he's going in with mustard oil, which is another ingredient I've never used before, and it smells like mustard. He was telling me that most people think mustard, they think always about the seeds, but the actual oil that's extracted from the seed is also very flavorful. We have chili paste over here if we need it, salt, pepper.
Oh, salt and pepper, that also works.
And the shrimp we have thawed. We have the tail still on because I don't know about you, but I think that the actual shrimp shells give a lot of flavor, especially when you're mixing it with like a liquid.
Oh yeah, it definitely works as a for a stock as well. If you're making like a gumbo or something like that.
Absolutely. And the ghee with these sweet red onions already smells.
That is red chili paste.
Amazing. Giving these a quick stir, and these are sweating out.
I'd recommend only using a tiny bit of chili paste when you're actually cooking. Because this stuff can actually get really potent, and one of the downsides to actually eating really spicy Indian food and all that is heartburn. So, heartburn from like too much spice.
So I did one of your recipes you gave me. I did at home the other night. I used a little bit more chili paste than I probably should have, and I was like, "Wow, what's happening right now?" But I'm here to tell you about it. And turmeric. I want to take a minute to talk about turmeric because turmeric is amazing when it comes to the nutritional benefits of turmeric. As you can see, it's such a star of the show that I actually matched my sweater and my bracelet to the turmeric color.
I just now noticed that. That's brilliant.
Turmeric is something that is it's really hot on the market right now. You can actually find it in supplement form. So here it is. Here you can get like a supplement, which is good for anti-inflammatory and antioxidants. It actually has been linked to reducing degenerative disease for the brain, so it actually helps with preventing Alzheimer's.
I'm just going to check up on the onions real quick.
You do that, I'll stir the shrimp.
All right.
So turmeric is awesome, so if you can add that into your diet, and it's actually, I did a little bit of research. Did you know there's an active ingredient in turmeric called curcumin? That is the component that gets so much attention about the health benefits that it offers. So, just look how pretty that shrimp looks. That's
look how pretty the onions look, for that matter. So, yeah, the thing about the onions, you want to wait until they're a little caramelized. Speaking of which, I actually just remembered, you can use a little bit of salt and a little bit of sugar to help bring out the moisture and just help with that caramelization process.
Okay.
Oh, sweet, thank you.
I always knock that over, and if we need more, we've got it. So the onions, when people think onions, they don't always necessarily think sweet, but onions really are, especially when they caramelize, they really are a very sweet ingredient.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So how long, obviously, would you do this as this process you just did with the shrimp? Would you do that right before you're about to put it in the pan, or would you usually do it like a little bit before?
I would usually do it like a couple minutes, like 30 minutes to 45 minutes before.
Okay.
But just now, the flavors are actually kind of seeping in pretty well.
Yeah.
So, and the thing about Bengali cooking in general is just always improvise. Like improvisation is key. Like, oh, this needs a little more salt. This needs a little more spice. Stuff like that.
Taste as you go, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm sure by doing this with the shrimp, it's going to lock so many of those flavors in the shrimp itself, which is going to make this dish actually, that much better. I'm going to talk while the onions are sweating out a little bit. Let's talk about the coconut milk in this dish.
All right.
Really, what's the purpose of the coconut milk? And we also have coconut flakes. What's the purpose that this serves, really? I'm sorry, that's yours.
Flavor.
Yeah.
But in all seriousness, this goes back to the term Malai, because in Malaysian culture, a lot of people actually use coconut milk in a ton of stuff. I think it was tom kha gai soup, especially. It's one of my favorites. in Thai in terms of just the general Malay flavor and all that.
Yeah.
It really adds an element of just nuttiness, savoriness, and just, well, it's called coconut for a reason.
Yeah. And it's, I think that's the one of my favorite things about Indian food in general is the combination of the sweet with the spicy, the savory. I mean, there's just so much that's going on when the dish really pulls together to make it really just.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So we have regular coconut milk today, but you could, if you were trying to maybe cut some calories or fat out of your diet, you could use like a light coconut milk, and you can find this at any grocery store, really, for the most part. So that'll save about a third of the it's about a third of the calories and about a third of the fat as regular. We opted for the regular today. Absolutely.
I might just add a little bit of the garlic and ginger paste to add some more flavor to the onions as well.
And I could just sit there and smell that. It smells so good.
Doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Let me just. Let's have these flavors get to know each other a smidge, and then
Get the party started. As I was reviewing a lot of your recipes, you really toast the spices.
Yeah, we do.
So talk about that. Like, what's the when you put it in before, instead of just adding it with the coconut milk, what's the reason really bringing it to the pan beforehand?
Well, you're effectively adding another chemical reaction to the spices that actually just elevates their flavor and maximizes their potency as well.
As I said in the introduction, culinary scientist he is what he is. So we were talking about favorite cooking shows, and he mentioned one of his favorite cooking shows is definitely one that talks a lot about the science of food and really educates you about so much about why you're eating is so healthy for you and so good, why it happens. Okay, so what do we usually do next? Are we going to go in, do we need them to sweat a little bit more?
Just a little bit more.
Okay.
I might need to refer to the recipe real
Absolutely.
quick.
And talk about your recipe book.
So this is the book, the holy grail of sorts of Indian cooking. In my opinion, at least, because it actually, as it says on the description, it's the first book on Bengali cooking written in English and written in such a way that it's actually genuinely easy to follow. And I might use it just for a little, I need X amount of this, Y amount of that. Yeah. Again, leaning into the prophecy that Indian food is all about improvisation, or specifically Bengali food is about improvisation.
Yeah, learning as you go. And I think this is I was so excited to have him today when we started talking about everything, just because it's different. These ingredients, this complexity that's happening here today, for a lot of people may seem intimidating, but I think it's really important to reference this book he's talking about, or a really good, authentic Indian recipe book will show you the way. So get adventurous, try it out, and you can improvise along the way to make it work, right?
And I think now's as good a time as any. Let's go in with the spices first.
You want to do the bay leaves and the
masala. The bay leaves as well. One of the most important ingredients. The bay leaf.
You make it sound so intense.
One of the cooking channels I watch is actually a YouTube channel. It's called Life of Boris. He emphasizes certain ingredients, particularly the bay leaf.
Okay.
He always announces it in an ominous manner. The bay leaf, or maybe two. And one of the more distinguishing traits of his channel, he actually speaks like a Russian Kermit the Frog.
Okay.
In my opinion, he's actually very entertaining and somewhat educational in terms of teaching about baklava, dolma, solyanka, all these sorts of different Slavic dishes, like East Slav, West Slav, etc.
That's awesome. And I think that's what you're touching on really is important about cooking. It shouldn't feel like a chore. It should feel fun. You should enjoy your time in the kitchen, and you should enjoy one of the things one of the best things about cooking is to be able to enjoy the dish that you made at the end and share it with others.
Oh yeah. Adding on to your point in general, I think a litmus test for just how good do you know your dish is if you can't stop having it, or if you can't stop having a taste.
Yeah.
So I think with that, let's add these guys in. Let's see here.
That shrimp looks so good.
Doesn't it?
It does. And when Shomudro and I first met, and we were talking about the show, something he said that people always say, you're so busy, how do you find time to cook? And I'm like, cooking to me is relaxing. It's my downtime to get in the kitchen and really enjoy, cooking up a good dish and eating it. And you said that's the same thing for you too, correct?
Oh yeah.
You just really enjoy that aspect of just taking it down a notch.
Yeah, that should be good. This smells amazing.
Oh, that does smell good. And it looks so good.
Doesn't it?
It does.
So the thing about cooking shrimp, you actually want to give an even surface area, and you want to cook as under 2 minutes for each side, so that way it doesn't get rubbery.
Absolutely.
I think I might have violated that rule already.
No, I think we still got some time.
Oh yeah.
Let me know if we forgot the garam masala.
And another distinguishing trait is just make sure that it turns pink on even sides. You don't want any brown spots. You don't want any gray spots. I mean, slight gray spots in terms of just letting it simmer with the coconut milk and all that. But other than that, if it's pink, you're good.
So the shrimp looks like it's coming along. Do you think it's that time to go in with the coconut milk and let
it's high time.
All right. And coconut milk, when some people, I've had people ask before with coconut milk, it's very thick at the top and then the liquid is at the bottom of the can. That's normal. It didn't spoil.
Or did it?
Or did it?
Cue the X-Files theme song.
We'll still check the date, but I noticed, especially with the light coconut milk, it's not as the creamy consistency that you're getting of this regular milk. If you go with the light, it will look like a little bit of a separation, but hopefully we don't need the X-Files. But yeah, that's just the creaminess, that the sweetness, how it's going to contrast the spice that's going on with this dish is going to be glorious. And we also have here what we did with the coconut flakes. We soaked them and then pureed them per your request.
Yeah. Oh shoot, thanks.
Yeah.
Let me just mix everything up and then, So
the coconut flakes, you had mentioned that you can actually get them frozen, fresh coconut flakes. You can get them frozen and add them right in the dish. And again, there's so many places you can go to really get these authentic ingredients that you might not find in your regular spice section at the grocery store. So be adventurous, try different stores, and really step out of your comfort zones. All right, so the shrimp is almost cooked through, and like he said earlier, you don't want to overcook it. So do you want to go in with the spices now, let all these flavors marry together?
Yeah, let's do that actually.
Okay.
So we can definitely add some of the garam masala right here. Not sure if I added too much cinnamon or not.
Nah, I'm sure it's fabulous. And that's something about garam masala is it's very unique in that there's not really one size fits all. It's a matter of your preference and how you like it and how it all comes together. The shrimp curry has been simmering for a little bit. We're going to go ahead and sample that in a minute.
Yeah. Let me just
see how it turned out.
All right, let's take a gander here. What I usually do is I just put a little bit on a spatula and I just put it on a spoon and
Good?
It's good.
I feel kind of left out, but that's okay. I'll wait until it's perfected. No, I'm just kidding. So we also, on the break, while the shrimp was getting ready, what we did is we sauteed a half of a red onion, and we're going to go in with okra, which I just learned that if okra, if you give it a little push at the top and it doesn't if it resists you too much, it's not ready to cook. It's not ripe enough. So we have sliced the okra, cut the tops off, right?
Yeah.
And then just slice it on a diagonal, which looks so pretty. So we're going to go in with those in the pan of the onions, right? Next, or do you go in with spices first? Am I jumping ahead?
Well, it can go either way, actually.
Okay.
You can put the okra in like we're going to do right now, and then as soon as that's out of the way, we can immediately introduce other spices, like the turmeric paste that we mentioned earlier. We're just going to put a little bit of that. Come on.
I feel like I'm eating like a multivitamin today. I just feel like I'm treating my body so good today.
Yeah, this is basically one giant multivitamin. So yeah, a little bit of that, and
so he's going in with garlic ginger paste, a little bit of turmeric paste, which you could always use just turmeric powder if you can't find turmeric paste.
We basically just mix it up with a little bit of water, and speaking of water,
look at that, fancy. You just ask for it, appears. So the purpose of the water is really just to help the okra cook, is that correct?
Yeah, essentially. Let me just mix all these guys together.
So this is a dish, the okra, I've been informed today, I've learned so much here today, but the okra is something that doesn't take a long time to cook, so if you really don't want to necessarily serve this with rice or a salad, okra is a dish that really does come together pretty quickly, so that'll happen here pretty fast. So the okra is now sauteing. We're going to mix in these coconut flakes, which you said just really add the sweetness to this.
Yeah, exactly. It adds sweetness, and it also acts as a thickener, kind of like a cornstarch slurry you would add to like a casserole or like a gumbo or something like that.
Okay. So the okra, with everything that you've added, is there anything else you need to add to bring that full circle? And then I'm going to plate up this shrimp.
Bring that full circle. I already added salt. I added the turmeric earlier. What else?
Cumin?
Oh yeah, that's right. A little bit of cumin.
You can just go in there with your fingers if you want a little pinch.
Yeah. Just like a little pinch. will do.
And in a lot of Indian dishes, when I was reading through cookbooks, a lot of times you toast the spices in a dry pan to really bring those flavors to life.
Yeah, that's what we do because, like I said, it actually excites the chemical compounds that make spices. Well, spices. It particularly excites the capsaicin in a lot of spices.
Yeah, capsaicin is another ingredient that has so many great components to it. It's from a nutritional benefit, especially cancer fighting, antioxidants, and I am plating up some of this shrimp. Now, can you ever go in with different veggies and such with this? Like, would you ever consider adding additional veggies?
Additional veggies
to the shrimp?
What
like
would I add?
Eggplant or
eggplants? I would add more to less to seafood and more to like just meat in general.
Okay.
Like if I was making, it's your equivalent to like a sloppy Joe. We call it a keema. We could sometimes add eggplant to round out the meat flavor, or if there's little meat, making more out of less.
Okay, I like it.
Which is one of the facets of cooking as well in India, because India is a third world country. So oftentimes you have to make more out of less.
Yeah. Stretch your ingredients, and you could serve this shrimp curry over a bed of rice, or perhaps.
We almost forgot one thing. Garnish.
Garnish.
So
chili flakes. Now, if you were going to plate this up, you could plate this up in a beautiful dish, and it really does that yellow color. I am supposed to eat these, right?
Yeah. Yes, you are.
Yes.
You are required by Indian law and American law. Okay, I'm just joking.
You're trying to take me out. These things are probably really spicy, aren't they?
Oh, they are. I've actually been. So one of the things we do, typically we just leave in spices at our family. In our family, we just leave in the spices like the dried red chilies or bay leaves and all that. Sometimes we bite into it and, well, tough noogie.
All right, so I'm going to try. How about we try this? And then,
All right,
is the okra done?
It's still working around.
Okay, we'll try this real quick, and then we're going to try the okra. Okay, let's see what magic happened.
All right.
Actually, I got to take off the tail. I'm not supposed to eat the tail either, right? Between the tail and the red chili pepper. I'll use this knife. I want to use my fingers, but I don't know if I have a towel handy. How's it tasting?
This is the first time I've made this.
What?
And it tastes incredible.
The creaminess, the coconut, that's awesome.
There's a little trick you can do with meat.
I'm going in the tail.
Yep. You just squeeze from the bottom. And there you go.
I would have left that behind. You should never leave that behind. The tail.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome. Here.
We should probably get that. Oh, thank you.
You just split because I don't have one down there. That is awesome. Let's go ahead and try this okra. Is it ready to sample up?
I would think so. Let me just give you like let's just give you a couple of these bad boys right here.
All right. Now okra has like a little slime that pulls with it, especially when you cut into it, and that's actually normal. You were saying that mucus kind of texture is how you know the veggie is really fresh, right?
Yeah, it's how it's fresh and how tender it is as well. Another facet of it being tender is doesn't need salt, doesn't need anything.
That's good.
It's good as is. Okay.
Awesome. This was such an awesome experience, and I have learned so much from you that I'm going to continue to make these type of dishes at home. And I think it's myth-buster time to say that curry isn't something you buy in a bottle that is just a spice in itself. Curry is made from so many different ingredients that are so authentic to the Indian cuisine.
Oh, yeah.
And I want to thank you so much for taking me on this journey.
Thanks for having me.
It has been absolutely incredible to have you, and I cannot wait to eat the rest of this dish. So remember, you're not cooking in style unless you're cooking
family style. All right.
Did you enjoy this episode? Make sure to check out past episodes by going to the EdTV website, watchedtvnow.com, or visit YouTube and search for The Red Clay Cook-Off Family Style. Your taste buds will be glad you did.